This is the battle the Rebel Command never wanted you to know about. Not long after the destruction of the Death Star, Yavin 4 was attacked by a small strike squad filled with volunteer troopers whose families had been on board the Great Station during the battle. This small band of vengeful troopers booked a one-way ticket to Yavin with no plans for returning home. Their aim was to inflict as much damage, destruction, and horror to the rebel scum as possible. In a way, defying their commanding officers, shipping out, and cutting comms to the Imperial fleet was their greatest advantage. Zero radio chatter. This led the rebels to believe the Empire was too thrown off to muster a quick counterattack. They celebrated, and at dawn, the battle broke without a single sentry warning. It was mayhem, carnage, and a grim reminder to the rebels who was still in charge of the galaxy. By the end, not a single trooper still stood, but the rebels could hardly call it a victory. Going numbers to numbers, it was and still is the single greatest loss of life the rebels ever experienced during the Galactic Civil War, and it scared High Command to the core. All rebel survivors were sworn to secrecy through threat of court-martial as not to deplete morale or scare off potential allies. So now, all you hear are whispers in the corridor. Or that's what I would've written if I hadn't been disqualified! Hey everybody, welcome to BrickVault. Today is a LEGO vlog video, a little bit different from formats you might have seen in the past. I'm gonna be talking all about the Star Wars Ideas battle scene contest. That's what that weird intro was about right off the bat. We don't have any ill will or bad blood with the people at Ideas, but it was kind of a weird and odd fluke that we got kicked out. We didn't quite realize what the rules were. In general, the studio has been transforming like crazy. I'm gonna have a really interesting video for you guys next week, and things have been pretty fun. LEGO has sent over some fun packages for us to do reviews, so thanks a lot, guys, including the Stranger Things set, which was probably a fan favorite and probably one of the best sets of the year, I still think. And also this one, which we can't show you guys yet. We've been making all kinds of fun custom builds each week. You can see those videos on Friday. In particular, I'm excited about this upcoming Friday because we're going to be launching our largest, at least our tallest model yet. It's a bit different, and I certainly hope you guys like it. So remember to check out this Friday. And now let's talk about the Star Wars battle scene contest. For those that don't know, let me give you a little bit of a recap. The LEGO Ideas website was running a really cool Star Wars building contest where you basically build the coolest and craziest battle scene that you can think of, and the grand prize winners get a ton of sets, some collectible stuff as well. The end goal was, if we did win, to kind of have a bunch of giveaways for the channel, and for the most part it really just got our creative juices flowing. Here's a bit of the build process. This was going to be the original video, but I'll let you know how and why our project eventually did actually just get rejected flat out. Less than 12 hours until we can submit photos. Aren't you glad we decided to think of this last minute?
Yes, I am.
We are finally getting to use our army. At least a bit of it. I don't know how much. I don't think we're gonna put all these guys in there. All right, here's a couple of explosions. This is the cool explosion. I ran out of most of the other good explosion pieces, so we might have a few other smaller fires, and then I also redid some smoke and fiery things to show a bit of the torn up tarmac for Yavin. But right now we've got a few things kind of all pushed off to the side because we haven't really organized out our sort of defenses. I kind of want to have a defense line, so to speak, with a lot of rebel soldiers and pilots and fleet troopers all kind of backed up there, besides supply crates, maybe even a couple of ships turned on their sides, and then the same going through here with the death troopers and stormtroopers coming in and trying to flank the main hangar. So this is going to be the bottleneck point of what is a Yavin battle. Obviously Yavin isn't finished. This is just kind of a fun thing that we're doing for, I guess, the competition, but also I feel like this would make a fun video too. So anyways, enjoy. This is what Yavin kind of looks like so far. I just started getting some things out here. We've got the AT-AT finally rebuilt, and I've moved some of the ships further back to the main hangar, because this is what the battle is really going to be about. It's going to be about the stormtroopers and the death troopers trying to get inside the main base to destroy stuff, steal information, essentially wipe out the rebels, and they are trying to defend it. So we've got the ships, nothing really destroyed. I didn't want to go too far and really mess up stuff, so the X-Wing is kind of knocked over, and these platforms that are normally used to, do maintenance and things on the ships, they're now going to be the higher cover, so I'm going to be putting soldiers all around there, different troopers, and then we've got like the lower main barrier coming down the front. Ramon was playing around. We've just started setting up some stormtroopers. They're all going to be rushing with the confidence of this giant walker. I accidentally just destroyed my explosion, so I rebuilt it. And I've moved the B-Wing over a little bit. And I think the Death Troopers are going to be kind of coming in from this side. They've got all the longer rifles. I've got some suspended blaster shots, some red suspended blaster shots that I'm going to be starting to set up. And then this squad, I want there to be like a squad of Death Troopers kind of coming in on this side. Maybe move the Flame Trooper back a bit. And yeah, I'll probably have to take those Fleet Troopers off the top and make them look a little bit more tactical, because they wouldn't be hanging out on the steps during a battle like this. So anyways, this is me just getting stuff on the table, and let's start setting it up a little bit more. Yeah, I did hear that. I just started recording, and I heard that from the side. What'd you do?
You dropped the bit. Literally, I pulled the bit out and like kind of just let go after I pulled it all the way out.
I'm shaking my head first, and then I realized I couldn't pick it up on the camera. All right, so this is a bit of progress. I don't know how much time has passed, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes. I have to tell you, it is a little bit slow going because I've got to be on my knees and basically holding myself up with one hand and setting everything else up back here with one hand. And I got to be careful because now that we've set AT-AT up, me moving these tables around really jiggles things. So it's a slow and very careful process setting up some of the scenes. And first things first, this is such a big area that, of course, I didn't realize how difficult it would be to make this thing feel kind of filled up with a lot of space. I added the Y-wing back there to kind of block things off. There's another A-wing, just kind of creating the illusion that there is a full hangar behind us. And then the defenses have been set up a lot more, and I'm starting to set up slightly more individual battle scenes. I'm going to play around with it a bit, but I think it's looking a little bit more complete from here on out. We've got some Death Troopers that are flanking in. They've started to climb the steps somewhat. Little do they know they've got dual-wielding Admiral Akbar, plus a lot of other guys that are waiting to take on the flanking move here. And none other than Chewbacca, who's holding the fort down like an absolute boss. That is one of those old chrome broadswords that you got from Knights quite a long time ago. And he's up on top, and he's managed to dismember quite a few of the elite Death Troopers because, he's Chewbacca after all. And I feel like that's a fitting place to put him for this battle scene with the unfortunate news that we just got actually this morning with Peter Mayhew. Actually, I think yesterday, Peter Mayhew, the actor playing Chewbacca, has passed away. So R.I.P. And I think there he is, holding it down like none other in the battle, just taking out all the elite troopers. There's a little bit more mayhem here. I kind of want a little bit more causality to some of the action with, there's basically guys just kind of holding it down, taking cover. There's some random fires. I've set the explosion up a little bit more now, so we've got a few soldiers suspended in air. Let me get in a bit closer so you can see what that looks like. Yeah, it looks a little bit better when you get the sort of three-dimensional view of it. And this is where the microphone cut out during the little tour here. So let me just show you guys the final 5 images that I submitted that night. I did a little bit of Photoshop work. I'm actually not that good at it, so it might look a little bit wonky. I was trying to make the explosions glow. Long story short, it was a lot of fun, and when Yavin is complete, there will probably be another more awesome battle scene that we'll set up at some point for fun, making more explosions and smoke clouds and the like. Now, like I said in the beginning, this battle scene never made it to the contest floor. I think it was up for like a day, and then they turned it back. Basically, a lot of the ships, or most of the ships that you see here, were primarily designed by other people that we work with, designers from all over the world. And in the contest rules, you're not allowed to use custom builds that have been built by other people, or modified, even slightly modified custom builds that are primarily were designed by other people. This goes, of course, for official Lego sets as well. And I understand where the contest designers were coming from when they made up this rule. In essence, it's supposed to inspire creative builds that had absolutely zero reliance on pre-existing things within the community. But what ended up happening is not just this particular rule, but actually several throughout the contest weren't really enforced 100% the same. So if you go through the comments of this contest, there's a lot of disappointed people for actually a variety of reasons. And I think that's more of just a testament to trying to enforce very subtle rules, because at the end of the day, a lot of the best Lego Star Wars ships that are custom built are usually based upon other people's designs just in general. That's kind of how a lot of Lego builds work, especially when classic ships are rebuilt and reiterated time and time again. And at the end of the day, if you wanted to have vehicles included in your build, you just had to design everything from scratch, which, once again, I can totally understand their perspective, but I do feel bad for some people that put a ton of effort into their builds and ended up kind of getting disqualified on a basic technicality. Heck, even the main pictures that they used to show the battle scenes include official Star Wars sets that were slightly modified, or custom builds that I think are very, very commonly known throughout the building community. So there was a good chance that if these were submitted to the contest, they probably would have been disqualified as well. So once again, this, yeah, I can definitely understand the confusion. And for us, it was just a lot of fun to do, and I'm really glad that we did it. And I also think the Lego Ideas people had good intentions in part. And actually, let me just take this time to say right now that they are doing another voting round for, there are 4 different Lego Ideas sets from the last 10 years that almost made it, but not quite. They've all been pre-approved, and whichever one gets the most votes is going to turn into a Lego Ideas set. And if you have a good idea yourself for the next Lego set, it might not be such a bad idea to submit to the Ideas program. And heck, if you've got a really great idea for a set, it might even be worth submitting to our web store. Anyways, guys, there's a lot of evolution happening in the studio. I think our space is changing more rapidly in the last couple of weeks than it has been perhaps ever since we moved into our new space. And the next Yavin update should probably be out for next week. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. If you enjoy our content, you can always like or subscribe, and we'll see you next time at BrickVault.